I can't believe I get this shit for playing the game for 500 days.
Wait, don't click off the video, please. I need subscribers. Ow, shit. Oh. Subscribe.
I've been playing Warframe for 500 days, and my 500 login day reward is the zenistar. Now, I just don't have the pistol because I got that on console, so this is the weapon that I do not have yet. So, after playing the game 500 days, I have 27 prime Warframes. That's crazy. 12 prime primaries, 7 prime secondaries, and 12 prime melees, 3 prime sentinels. The prime arcwing. Have I really been truly grinding for these 500 days? Not really. If you look at my mod collection, got some very nice, my favorite Riven mod, my Kuvayanga. Got Charged Cell, Chilling Grouse, Continuity, Expel Corrupt. This mod, I don't even know why I have this. Fever Strike pistol game at Point Blank, Pressure Point, Rubidolline Barrel, Sure-Footed, Prime Vigor. Let's take a look at what else I have. I have all these little figures hanging around the base, or hanging around the ship. Let's take a look at my room. We got the Rhino Prime in the case, the Rubico, and it looks like the Redeemer Prime in the back. Looking nice. We got my floofs down here, and we got the whole poster collection hanging out. We got my Itan sculpture collection right here. I have my Walk of Master ranks. I've killed 8 Kuva Liches. I'm mastering 23. Remember, May 25th, Gar Prime. Do I think Warframe's worth playing for 500 days? It 100% depends on who you are. It's 100% a grind game. So if you enjoy the grind, if you enjoy the looter shooter kind of games, I think you could definitely be out here for a while. So I have played Warframe for more than 500 days if you include my account console play, but on this account, it's just 500. Honestly, the complaints I have about Warframe, a lot of it's just a matter of certain things that you need to grind for aren't worth the grind, but you need it to get to like master rank 30. I've said this before, the Cyber, certain Warframes, like Equinox, even the weapons that come for your dojo that require Forma, I think that's an unnecessary step because a lot of those weapons aren't good. And it shouldn't have to cost you an extra, Orc and Cell and 30,000 credits and a Forma blueprint that you could apply to a weapon. Also, just like with the small grinds of using a Forma to add 2 more levels to your Kuva weapons, I could see like having 2 Forma to get it to level 40. Like, one Forma giving it 5 levels, another Forma giving the other 5 to make it 40. But 2, I just don't think it's efficient and very, I think the grind is too heavy for that in my opinion. So to go on even further, one of the other complaints that I have of Warframe, I think some of the Warframes that take a ridiculous grind are just, to go on with the grind of like the ridiculous frames that aren't really worth it. Grendel, for example, absolute grind. You have to complete the star chart and go do arbitrations. With those arbitrations, take your take your tokens that you get from that to buy locations on the map that are very difficult unless you have Octavia, which is pretty much the only frame you can complete that with. It's just kind of sus, like the amount of effort that it takes to finish this part of the game. But honestly, I do have to give Warframe praise where it deserves it. Graphics for a free game, stunning. Obviously, I know it's a PC game, so the graphics kind of have to be good, but I think the graphics department really goes pretty well. And with the Prime Warframes they release, they usually look pretty good. Now, one thing I do have to criticize is the sort of content pipeline. Now, you do have to consider that this game is like 8 years old, and in gamer years, that's like 64 years old. But this game is still sustaining itself, but it is slowly declining in players. This is partially due to the pandemic with their content pipeline kind of being hit, not being able to produce as much. Because if you look at a trend before 2020, the game was very slowly increasing with small jumps of when new content came out. Now, to really revitalize this game, I believe doing some more advertising with big YouTubers. I'm not sure when Vanoss did a video on Warframe if that really juiced the player count. And something really cool in Warframe that it's not necessarily unique, but it is very cool, is the storyline. A lot of the quests are really fun to play. Some of them are kind of stinkers, like the Mutos Alid V quest. I think that's just stupid. That's very niche though. But I do think a lot of the other quests are really cool. I think they could have used a quest to obtain the Parazon to give it a little bit of backstory, because you just kind of get it, and it's nothing fun or nothing new. And I do think each Warframe should have a nice story behind it. And before you think there's already the Lavarian, nobody likes okay, it's very niche for the people who like Lavarian. I think they could have spent their time making like animations for each Warframe, or making like a lore video for each Warframe to give it a bit of a backstory. So add that little extra depth to each Warframe that you choose. And I mean, you could do that instead of making a quest for each Warframe. And a quest for each base Warframe I think would be pretty cool. You could do that for pretty much all except the starter Warframes. I mean, do you really need a quest for the starter Warframes? Not really. With the need for grinding of certain Warframes, like for Hydroid, needing to go to Oro on Earth, I think is just kind of stupid. It's going to be my opinion. I think it would have been a lot cooler to give a backstory, because you have these Prime animations that are out, but I think it would be really cool for a lot of the general public is like the backstory of a lot of these Warframes, how they were created, what do they do in the old war, sort of thing. And that's another thing I'm going to talk about is the Warframe devs kind of leak content that's like super far ahead. Like I think the Duviri paradox, that was super old, or that was when they announced that and made like a teaser video. There was no definite timeline of when that would officially come out. The hype came way too soon to when it's coming, because it hasn't even came out yet. So this hype is going to die down, and when they have it again, people are just going to think it's the boy who cried wolf. They're going to do this again. It's not going to work. So that's another flaw that I kind of see with Warframe. But hopefully now that the pandemic is sort of coming to an end, people are going to be able to see a lot more content coming out for games. One thing I think is really cool about Warframe is some of the boss fights. Terrorless hunting, I think, is super fun, and the Orb Mother and the Exploiter Orb, those are super fun. But I think some of the quest line bosses are just annoying, because it's the fact that you have to grind them to get Warframes. Like, if you could kill them to like unlock a quest for a Warframe, or each planet has a quest for a Warframe, that would be super cool. Because grinding Sargus Ruck for Ember is just no fun. I definitely think there should be a grind just to make these certain things more valuable, but I think the grind is misplaced, because I think the grind should go behind super rare items that are hard to get, and not shitty items that are hard to get that aren't worth the grind, but you need them to get to Master Rank 30. So certain like base Warframes, I could see Wisp being like a secondary quest, but Valkyr, there's no reason why you need to grind Alad V so many times. I think an integrated quest with the planet would have been a lot cooler. Europa definitely could have had a cooler quest line. Now the Raptor, I think the Raptor's kind of fun boss fight, but otherwise his planet's pretty irrelevant besides the ice fields. So that sort of thing for me is pretty important. They kind of made a good decision of integrating Excalibur Umbra with Lua and Earth. So yeah, I think content integration is pretty important, because they just have it kind of loosely integrated where it doesn't feel like there's layers of depth. I do think it's really nice how they pop out hotfixes all the time, but it still is known as bug frame. So do be aware of that. It's never going to be a perfect game. I mean, no game is really perfect, and if this game has ran for 8 years, something is right about it. So it doesn't really hurt for you to play it, just to take a shot of it, because it's still running at 8 years old. So I know I didn't talk about all the topics in Warframe, but I talked about a few of them, and a bit of my criticism about Warframe, and a bit of my appreciations about it. So if you have any more input, because I know I didn't touch out on a lot of stuff, but I want to keep this video a little bit shorter. So if you did stay till the end, please do subscribe, as it really does help me out. We're about to reach 500 subscribers, which is absolutely insane. I was expecting to hit 100 on my birthday, and it's not even my birthday yet, and so we're crushing that. I so greatly appreciate that, which is just insane.